So you're an ex-homeschooler with a story to share. I want to hear it. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jacob Gooden, host of the Ex-Homeschoolers Club. That's right, the best ex-homeschooler show this side of the internet. And if you're new here, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. That's right. Today, I'm talking about why you might be the perfect guest to come on the show. And, I'm going to talk about the stories that I'm looking to feature. I'm going to talk about the process of actually doing the interview, and I'm going to share, a little sneak peek at some of the questions you might get asked. So if at any point during this conversation you go, yes, this is me, I want you to do something, shoot me an email at exhsclub@gmail.com. Say, hey, Jacob, I want to come on the show. Let's get that conversation rolling. First things first, let's talk about why I'm doing this. I wanted to make an episode about this because I just know how intimidating it can be to, first of all, be on a podcast, but secondly, reach out to a podcast and ask to be a guest, okay? That imposter syndrome sets in. You start to question, is my story all that interesting? Does my story even matter? Am I an interesting person? And let me just stop you right there, okay? Because everybody's story is so unique and so different. And what I've learned is that I think some of the most powerful stories come from the most unsuspecting people and from the people who don't think they have a great story to share, okay? So, if you've been homeschooled or been involved in the homeschool world, whether it was good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between, this show might be the place for you, and I want to get that ball rolling. So shoot me that email, okay? Now let's talk about some of the topics I'm interested in pursuing. Now, know that this list is not extensive. It doesn't cover everything. Okay, these are just some of the topics that recently have been on my mind. I've been thinking a lot about, and I want to touch on them. So first and foremost, big family versus small family homeschooling. Okay, I come from a small family. It was 2 of us being homeschooled, but I know kids who came from families of 12. And they have very different experiences with the homeschool world than I do. So if that's you, whether either side of the spectrum, I want to hear from you, okay? I want to know your story. Secondly, I want to talk about neurodivergency in homeschooling. So whether you were diagnosed, undiagnosed, growing up with autism, Asperger's, freaking ADHD, any number, dyslexia, if your brain just functioned a little bit differently, I want to hear about your experience. I want to know whether it was good, was bad, whatever. I'm interested in pursuing more of that, and kind of being the dumb guy in the room who could just ask questions. So yeah, number 3, I want to touch on LGBTQI plus stuff. I know I might have missed some letters. I hope I didn't, but their experiences. I grew up in a very religion-based Christian home education system, okay? LGBT was not really talked about, and when it was talked about, it was usually with a negative light. And so I'm interested to know what it was like growing up in an environment like that, but maybe you didn't grow up in an environment like that. Maybe you grew up somewhere where it was very accepted and very normal. And I want to hear. I want to know. So if that's you, reach out. Number 4, I don't know. Next one. This is a little bit down in the dumps, but I do want to talk about abuse in homeschooling and what that looks like. I know that's kind of a dark place, and I promise I will put a disclaimer on that episode if and when it comes to fruition, but I am interested in it. I didn't grow up in an abusive household, at least in maybe the traditional sense of what we think abuse is. But if you feel like homeschooling was an abusive area for you, I want to hear from you. I want to know. Next one I want to hear is growing up in an agnostic homeschool environment. Like I said previously, I grew up in a Christian environment. Okay, that was everyone I knew was a Christian, or so I thought. And so if that wasn't you, right, if you grew up, maybe you didn't have religion in your house, or maybe you had a different religion, right? Maybe you grew up with Islam or Judaism or something else, Mormonism. I think it'd be really interesting to touch on those and how they play a role in the homeschool world, right, and what it looks like to be homeschooled without them. Is something I'm interested in, because that's just not my experience. Next one on the list, the impact of purity culture and what happens after. I've talked about this before I've shared my story. I've had a couple people, we've talked about purity culture a little bit. Again, it's a religious thing, tends to be a religious thing, but it's something that is near and dear to my heart because it's something I deal with on the regular, and I'm still working through some things. And so, so if that's you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Next up on the list, what do we got? Whether the curriculum you used helped or harmed you, right? If you got a favorite curriculum, like I loved Math UC. That helped me understand math so well. I still kind of visualize it in my brain sometimes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Math UC was amazing. It's like block building math, essentially. And so if you've got a curriculum that is just, the love of your life, or maybe it's the spawn of Satan, in your opinion, that's something I'm interested in exploring with you. Next up, let's see, what do we got? Stories from parents. Okay. I know I've had a couple of homeschool parents on. I've had my parents on. The wonderful Mrs. Brooks has come on this podcast as well. But if you're a homeschool parent or a former homeschool parent, I want to talk to you. I want to kind of pick your brain. I want to know, would you do it again, right? What would you change? What do you tell other parents who are looking to homeschool their kids now? What kind of advice do you give them? I think one of the main goals of this show, it started really as a way to just reconnect with people. It was a networking thing, and reconnect and hear people's stories. But I've realized that one of the goals that I have of this show is to help the next generation of homeschool people, whether it's parents, whether it's kids. I want to give them hope that things can be better, and I want to push them to be better than my parents were, than we were as homeschool kids, right? I want them to be that next iteration, if you will. So if you're a homeschool parent and you want to chat, let's chat. Hit me up. And then the last thing I've got on the list here is, how does homeschooling look today as compared to back then? So this is for current homeschoolers or homeschool parents, or maybe people who just got out of it, right? I've been out of the homeschool world for about 10 years now, so I'm a little rusty. I've been doing my research and learning and connecting with some current homeschool families and some current homeschool educators and things like that. But I want to know whether you just graduated, whether you're still in it, whether you're still a parent teaching in the homeschool world. I'm kind of interested to pick your brain a little bit, find out what's maybe different, what's the same, how have things evolved. So again, if you heard a topic in there that you're like, I could talk about that. Maybe you didn't hear a topic that you could talk about, but maybe you've got a different topic, shoot me an email at exhsclub@gmail.com, okay? I'm going to keep plugging it because I expect emails, okay? I'm expecting them. Let's move on to what it looks like, okay? What the actual interview process is going to look like for you. Every interview is slightly different, okay? But some of the things remain the same. So let's go through it. Number one, I always offer to do a pre-interview chat. It's usually over a phone, maybe it's a Zoom call, but if you're just nervous or you want to just get to know me in a non-recorded, non-pressure scenario, we can do that, okay? It's just a sit-down chat. You and I, we're going to hang out. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to ask stupid questions. It also helps me sometimes with creating the questions that I'm going to ask in the interview and where you want to take it and where you feel comfortable taking it. So if you're a nervous person like I am, this can be really, really helpful just to kind of ease the nerves a little bit, okay? But once we've done that and you're like, I'm coming on the show, okay, the first thing is going to be a guest intake form. I'm going to email this to you or send you a link. You get to pick a time and date that works best for you. It's got a couple questions in there about, it's got the easy stuff like your name, your email address. It'll ask you a couple of things about topics you want to discuss. It'll ask you if anything's off limits. It'll ask you if you want to join my email newsletter, which hint, hint, you should do that. Link in the description below. Join the newsletter. But yeah, it's just some general questions to get things set up. Then you'll get an email, and that email is going to have some further instructions. It's basically going to be all the things you need, right? So the date and time of your interview, all the links you need to do it, if you've got headphones, wear them. If you've got a microphone, let's use it. I currently use a third-party service to record that's called Descript. So it's got links to that. It'll walk you through the whole process of how you set that up. Probably best to do it on a computer, not on a phone, that kind of stuff. It's the technical mumbo jumbo. Next up, the actual interview. Okay. So it's great. I have some services that basically will send you reminder emails. I'll send you one 24 hours before our interview, send you an hour before our interview, and I think it sends 15 minutes before the interview if I'm not wrong, but you'll at least get 2 emails before your interview just reminding you, hey, it's coming up. But yeah, we're going to jump on a call together. It's going to look very much like a Zoom call. Everyone's done a Zoom call at this point. But yeah, we're going to hang out. We'll chat for a few minutes. We'll get comfortable. We'll shake out the nerves. We'll do what we need to do. We'll take care of any tech issues. And then we'll press record. And we'll just get right into it, okay? We're going to ask questions. We're going to have a good time. We're going to laugh. Maybe we're going to cry. Who knows? It's going to be a good time. I promise you. And last up on the list is publishing, okay? After we've recorded, let's go into the editor. That's me. Okay. I'm going to edit this bad boy down. And that's the great thing about recording with me. We edit the show. Okay. So if at any point during the conversation, you need a break, you need to take a breath, maybe you said something out of turn, maybe you just said something and you're like, I want to rephrase that. We can edit it. We'll fix it. Okay. Not a problem. Now, when the episode goes live, I usually will tag you in an Instagram post with a little clip of the episode. And I'll shoot you a message on Instagram and say, hey, our episode's out. Like, thanks for coming on, that kind of a thing. If you don't have Instagram, that's okay. I'll shoot you an email. I'll let you know it's live, send you links, all that fun stuff. And really, at that point, it's up to you what you want to do. I love when people share it. I love when people are proud of it and they send it to all their friends. But I understand if that's not you, I get it. But it is nice when when people do share it. But overall, I want the experience to be as low pressure. I want it to be collaborative. It's meant to be a conversation, right? It's meant to be a back and forth. Of course, I'll have a whole list of questions that I can ask you that we can go for, hours on end talking about. But I also want you to feel open to ask me questions about my experience, if that's what you want to do, right? If that makes you feel comfortable, especially if we don't know each other from the past or anything like that. It's sometimes nice to compare notes, so to speak. That's kind of the fun part of this. So, so hopefully that has put your mind at ease. Again, if you're hearing this and you're going, I could do this, shoot me an email, exhsclub@gmail.com. Say, hey, Jacob, I think I'm ready. So last up, let's talk about some of the questions, okay? So these questions typically I send out. These get sent in that email, that pre-interview email, just to kind of get your brain turning a little bit, okay? And in general, if you've listened to the show before, you've heard these questions before. You know kind of how they go, but number one, I'm going to ask you about a day in the life of your homeschool world, okay? Right? I want to know, what did it look like? Like, was mom getting you up and having you in the classroom by 8 a.m.? Was it really chill? How many siblings you got? I want to know a little bit about just like life in general. Was every day the same? Was every day not the same? I want to know that, okay? Kind of our jumping off point into getting to know you as a person. Then we're going to get into, like, what are you doing now, right? How has homeschooling shifted into your world today? Does it play a role? Does it not? Some people choose to identify still as a homeschooler, like me. It's still very much a part of my identity and something that I would argue is kind of a selling point, if you want the package. But I want to know what you're doing now, right? I want to, we're getting to know each other, so to speak. And then I'm also going to ask you about like a distinct or vivid, this could be good, bad, ugly, but like this distinct memory of your homeschool world. For me, I remember very vividly the first day I took ballroom dance class, which was associated with my homeschool world. And I hated it at first, and I fell in love with it. It created some of the best friends I could have ever asked for. I met some of the coolest people, and I get to tell people I was a swing dancer back in the day. So, it worked out, so to speak. Yeah, so there's that. I'm also going to ask you, because I get asked this, of you were a homeschool kid. Would you homeschool your kids? Would you recommend people homeschool their kids? I want to know your take on that, right? Would you say yes? Would you say no? Would you say, well, if it was different in this way, I would consider these things? I want to know. That's, like I said, one of the goals of this show is to create an impact for the next generation of homeschoolers. Of course, it's also to be a therapy group and, a connection point for former homeschool kids to, we have some similar experiences, whether you grew up in Michigan or California or Texas or whatever. There's usually some overlap there, but, this show, it can be so much more than that. So, again, those are just a couple questions to give you a little taste of what you can expect. So, last call. If this sounds like you, if this sounds like something you want to do, shoot me an email at exhsclub@gmail.com. So, that's my plug. I know this is a little bit of a shorter episode, but that's okay. I'm going to give you a little tease of what I'm working on. I've got a couple episodes in the works right now. One with some amazing guests. They're going to be really, really fun. But two, I've been doing some reading, okay? I talked briefly before about how purity culture is a big deal for me. It's something that I'm very passionate about. It's something I'm very passionate about dismantling, and having better sex education and purity conversations with people in the future. And so, as a result of that, I have been reading probably the most notorious purity culture book of all time, and that is I Kissed Dating Goodbye by Josh Harris. One of the worst books I've ever read. I've also read his follow-up book that was more about marriage called Boy Meets Girl, and also one of the worst books I've ever read. So I'm rereading both of those. I had not read Boy Meets Girl, so I read that for the first time. Very interesting to read a book. We're going to get into it, but the tease is that these are terrible books, okay? Do not read them. I'm reading them so you don't have to. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how damaging this could be, and how at 14 years old, oh my gosh, if I was being handed some of these books and told, yeah, read this and it's good for you, I would have taken it as ultimate truth. And reading it now, well, I don't think that 100% every piece of advice in there is bad. It definitely needs to be questioned. And I will give the disclaimer, I know that Josh has distanced himself from these books. They're no longer in publishing. He's renounced them, and he has done, I think, some to kind of, I don't know, do penance for the harm it caused. But yeah, so it's just, again, something I'm passionate about is the purity culture movement. And I want to talk about it. So I've been reading those books. Those are still a little ways off because I'm putting together just some more in-depth looks at them than just me kind of reading and throwing together something. I wanted to really take my time with it and make something I'm very proud of. So those are coming, hint, hint, but they'll probably still be a month plus away. So in the meantime, I've got some cool ones, some cool episodes coming with new friends, with old friends. We're going to touch on some cool subjects. So with that, I'm going to close things out, but do me a favor, join the newsletter, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. All the links are down below. You know what to do. You're a normal person who understands how the internet works. Go give me a follow. Shoot me an email. Again, exhsclub at gmail.com. Yeah, so until next week, this has been Jacob Gunn signing off. Peace.